Most people don't notice when respect begins to disappear. They assume it happens during conflict, failure, or embarrassment, a moment where something clearly goes wrong. But in real social dynamics, that's rarely the case. Respect usually doesn't collapse. It fades, slowly, quietly, often without anyone saying a word. By the time someone realizes it's gone, the change has already settled into place. What people respond to isn't a single mistake. It's repetition. It's pattern. And once a pattern becomes visible, perception changes in a way that's very difficult to reverse. Respect is often misunderstood as something moral or emotional. In reality, it's largely cognitive. The brain is constantly evaluating social environments, deciding who to listen to, who to defer to, and whose behavior carries weight. These decisions aren't conscious. They're automatic, and they're based less on what people say and more on how consistently their behavior signals stability, restraint, and internal alignment. You don't lose respect because you're wrong. You lose it because your behavior becomes easy to predict. There's a concept in psychology known as cognitive compression. When the brain fully understands something, it stops allocating attention to it. It simplifies it, reduces it, moves on. This happens with objects, ideas, routines, and people. When someone becomes too familiar, too readable, the brain stops treating them as a source of novelty or authority. Interaction becomes habitual instead of attentive, and that's where respect begins to erode. The first pattern that contributes to this erosion is reaction speed. People who respond immediately to everything, emotionally or verbally, send a subtle signal. It suggests that their internal state is easily influenced by external input, that others can provoke, affect, or steer them without resistance. This doesn't mean reacting is wrong. It means reacting without delay removes friction, and friction is important. Friction forces others to slow down, to adjust, to consider. When responses are instant, people feel no need to regulate themselves around you. When responses are measured, people unconsciously recalibrate their behavior. A pause changes the dynamic. It introduces weight. Closely related to this is emotional visibility. There's a popular belief that showing how you feel builds respect. Sometimes it builds closeness, but closeness and respect are not the same thing. When people can always see how you feel, they stop imagining depth beneath the surface. There's no ambiguity, no uncertainty, no need to read between the lines. Respect often comes from what isn't fully visible, from the sense that there's more beneath the surface than what's immediately accessible. This isn't about hiding emotions, it's about regulating them. Contained emotion signals control, control signals stability, and stability is one of the strongest predictors of perceived authority. Another pattern that quietly undermines respect is over-explanation. When you justify your decisions excessively, you unintentionally communicate uncertainty, not necessarily about the decision itself, but about your right to make it. Each added explanation signals that approval matters, that disagreement might unsettle you, that alignment is required. People don't consciously analyze this, they feel it. And feelings shape hierarchy far more effectively than logic ever could. Clear statements followed by consistent action are more powerful than detailed reasoning offered in advance. Explanation has its place, but when it becomes reflexive, it weakens perception. Availability is another factor that's widely misunderstood. Being accessible feels generous, it feels supportive, but unlimited availability removes consequence from interaction. When people know they can always reach you, they stop preparing for the exchange. They stop respecting timing. They stop treating your presence as something that needs to be earned or protected. Boundaries don't create importance on their own, but they create structure, and structure gives interactions weight. When your time has edges, people become more intentional around it. When it doesn't, it becomes easy to overlook. There's also a deeper pattern that's harder to admit because it involves internal conflict. Every time you tolerate something you quietly resent, you create a small fracture in internal alignment. Your behavior no longer fully reflects your internal boundaries. That inconsistency doesn't stay hidden. It leaks into posture, tone, timing, and decision-making. People may not be able to articulate what's changed, but they sense it. Inconsistency signals weak internal limits. Weak limits invite testing, not out of cruelty, but because social systems always probe for boundaries. What's important to understand is that respect isn't built through assertion. It's built through coherence. When your actions, reactions, and limits align, people experience you as stable, and stability reduces the need for challenge. People don't challenge what feels solid. They adjust to it. This is why some individuals command respect without raising their voice, without explaining themselves extensively, without demanding anything at all. Their behavior sets the terms of interaction quietly. Silence plays a role here, but not in the dramatic sense people often imagine. Silence isn't powerful because it's mysterious. It's powerful because it forces others to fill the gap. And when people adjust their behavior to accommodate your pace, your timing, or your presence, hierarchy shifts. The adjustment itself creates elevation. You're not asserting authority. Others are assigning it. The mistake many people make is trying to earn respect through effort, through explaining, accommodating, reacting, and clarifying. But respect doesn't respond to effort. It responds to pattern. Patterns are what the brain trusts. Patterns are what it predicts from. And patterns are what ultimately determine where someone is placed in a social structure. You don't need to become distant. You don't need to become cold. You don't need to withdraw. You need to become less immediately readable, less reactive, less eager to clarify, less available without intention. When people can't fully map you, they pay closer attention. And attention is the foundation of respect. If there's one thing to take from this, it's this. Respect isn't claimed. It isn't negotiated, and it isn't demanded. It's detected. Detected through behavior that repeats consistently enough to signal something stable underneath. Once that signal is clear, people adjust automatically. And once the adjustment happens, respect follows.